Deacons, I'm going to ask you to come forward. During the offering, we're going to watch a video. As I mentioned in my prayer, there's an individual in our congregation that has felt called to pursue a vision. It's a vision that was already put in place, and he is cooperating with it. Some of our men are also cooperating with that, him and that. And so this gives you a little picture of what's going to be happening, and then Steve Huizinga is going to share what God's placed on his heart as he, by faith, walks forward.
At Grace Explorations, we know that you want to grow your ministry by reaching the unchurched men in your region. Even more, you want the men in your church to reach out to their unchurched friends and neighbors, but without the right tools and opportunities, reaching unchurched men can be tremendously difficult and frustrating. Since 2016, we've spoken to tens of thousands of men across the U.S., which has given us a unique opportunity to gather the pulse on what's happening with men today. We've seen and heard their trauma and shame as they try to make sense of their stories, which is why in 2017, we started Base Camp. Base Camp is a free event held at a local brewery where men gather to hear a story. We tell stories because we believe the shortest distance between the human heart and the truth is story. The storytellers are not professionals. They're simply men who, through adventure and pain, have found God's grace on their journey. Each night after the story, men are encouraged to take the inward journey themselves, to venture into their own stories, to find a tribe that will help them interpret their own life in light of God's great story. For us, it's way beyond beer. It's about brotherhood. It's about dangerous stories being told in a safe place, not to shame men, but rather to heal men, with humility and honor provided through the gospel of Jesus Christ. We've reached the point in our culture where we have to go where the men are. We can't ask them to keep coming to us. It's really as simple as that. It's the heart of Christ to show up at weddings and turn water into wine. It's the heart of Christ to go where the lepers are and to touch them. It's the heart of Christ to tell stories all over the Judean and Galilean hillside. Since we've launched Base Camp at Founders Brewery in Grand Rapids, we've seen over 1,000 men come to our Michigan base camps. I've been so honored, amazed, and thrilled to see these same men who were otherwise disconnected find transformation, tribe, and the truth that sets all men free in Jesus Christ. At Grace Explorations, we believe this can happen in your city too, which is why we want to help you build a base camp. So we encourage you, go to the men in your community that are hurting, men that are hopeless, men who would otherwise have no interest in coming to your church. Give them an opportunity to encounter God somewhere other than a church building. Don't just ask men to come to your church. Start asking your church to go to men. So download the Base Camp Playbook today, and together, let's reach more men in your community for Christ.
Usually every time I'm up here, I am talking about a trip to Haiti, and Bob called me this week and just said, hey, can you talk a little bit about you following God's leading and just taking a leap of faith? And, you know, Haiti is a leap of faith mostly for the people that go with me, because go to a fifth world country with me is kind of risky in itself. So you guys get kudos for all the people that have been to Haiti with me. You know, you see the video, Base Camp. I'm going to back up a little bit. One of the first times I really took God's leading in my life was, I think I had been sober 2 years. So those who don't know, I am a gratefully recovering alcoholic. And I'll get emotional, so. By God's grace, I'm sober. And after living with the disease for 2 years, which I have for the rest of my life, I started to think, what now, God? I went through this. What am I going to do with it? And I was kind of waiting for this big sign in the sky. You know, don't we all want this neon sign saying, this is what you're going to do with the struggle you went through? And that wasn't happening. And I was going through the 12 steps again, and the 12th step is knowing what we know now, we go out and help other alcoholics. I thought, you're kidding me. It's right there. So I think it's been 10 years, 8 years. I don't know. I'm horrible with the timeline. It all goes by quick. I started an AA meeting here on Monday evenings, 7 o'clock on Mondays. And I sat in a room by myself for 6 months waiting for people to show up. And I was ready to give up. I thought, God, you told me to do this. I took my leap of faith, and nothing. I'm showing up every Monday at 7. Nobody's showing up. It's advertised. It's in the AA book. And I remember thinking, why do you have me doing this? It's just not working. And I remember my dad telling me, he's here. Are you praying about it? I go, no. Why would I do that? AA. So every Monday I started to come early. Sanctuary's dark, nobody's here, and I would pray. And all of a sudden people start showing up. And the beauty of it now is I have 10 to 15 people every single Monday that show up. And these are men and women who are hurting. The amount of people that you don't see that often, because it is anonymous. Of course, you guys know I'm not anonymous. And now it's bled into Wednesday. So every Monday, every Wednesday, just because I just decided to say yes to what God was pushing me toward. Fast forward to, Kevin, what was it, 4 months ago? 4 months ago, I'm done with counsel, and I thought, okay, I get a good break. All right, I just got done, and I was thinking, okay, I get to rest. And God had a different plan. I was just thinking I would step away from anything ministry related and just give me a break. And I justified it in my head that, yeah, I deserve it. And Ron Jansen invited me to go to base camp and hear a guy speak at Founders. And I was a little leery at first because it's in a bar. It's on a Sunday evening. That didn't bother me, but it's in a bar, and I'm a recovering alcoholic. So I went and heard this phenomenal testimony of a guy named Michael Vorse, who you'll hear speak in July, and I'll tell you a bit more about that. And I'm sitting in a chair listening to this guy speak, and it's not the words he's saying. I mean, it was powerful, but something stirring in me. And I thought, oh no, God, what are you doing? Last time this happened, I started an AA meeting, and every Monday for the rest of my life, I'm responsible for that meeting. Because that was a big leap of faith. It's not like counsel, 3 years and you're off. That's a commitment for the rest of my life to run that meeting. And so I went home, still knew there was something stirring in me. Went to a trip to Haiti, and I'm in Haiti, and my phone rings. And there's Kevin DeVries is here, the guy you saw in the video. And he says, hey, you and I have a mutual friend that you and I ought to, I was told we ought to get in touch, and it's Kevin DeCam, so some of you know Kevin. So we met for breakfast, and it didn't take long that I knew what Kevin's vision was and my vision of helping hurt souls and helping men and women, and this is a men's ministry though, lined up. Now my struggle was, it's in a bar. So I had a lot of close family and friends, and I appreciate everyone who knows about this ministries and asked me that, because that is a very fair question. Me helping with a ministry in a bar. That's, as an alcoholic, that can be rough, but no bar ever made me drink. It was always me putting the bottles to my lips. So I said yes. I told Kevin I'd love to get involved with this. And he said, well, I'd like to start a base camp down south in Grand Rapids. Oh, that's quick. I said, well, hold on. Let me see if I can get some other men to help me, because I can't do it on my own. I'm just one person. I have the attention span of a gnat. I'm not good with details. So I need other gifts to bring on. So I asked Jason Boersma to come help. So, and then of course you guys are asking, he's not good probably with details. He has the attention span of a gnat. So I asked Ron Jansen also, he's the detail guy. He's kind of the anchor in some ways, kind of corrals me and keeps me on task. So me, Jason Boersma, Ron Jansen are starting a base camp every Sunday night, fourth Sunday of every month at Railtown Brewing. And this is where I think God has a sense of humor that just, you think about it, he's up there laughing. You have a recovering alcoholic starting a ministry in a bar that's owned by a CRC guy. So, and he's opening up on a Sunday evening. So that's what blows my mind, is the way God has worked through me, in me, all because I said yes and just started to see, all right, God, what path are you taking me down? And you hear, like I said, you hear Kevin's heart for men. That's where my heart is, getting men into this building can be hard, because that's the tough thing, is there's men who don't feel they are worthy to walk in these buildings, which is wrong. It should be the men it's the people we're trying to reach that should come in here. That's what the church is for, but for some reason they feel that guilt and shame. And that's why Base Camp's here, to hopefully bridge that gap. So hopefully I didn't go too long, Bob. I'm going to be done. But I encourage everyone to listen to God's leading. I mean, if I didn't listen to his leading, I wouldn't have started an AA. I wouldn't be involved in this phenomenal ministry of Base Camp. I wouldn't be continually looking to help men and bring men to Christ. And, women, of course, with AA, that's men or women, just tends to be more men are screwed up when it comes to that. So like I said, continue just seeking God's leading, and don't be afraid, because what he's done when I've shown just go for it has been phenomenal in my life. Thanks.